Sup nerds, Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, stars in his own movie, Captain America Brave New World. And guess what? I'm here to review it for you guys. This video is for those of you who have seen the movie and the ones who haven't seen the movie that want to know if it's worth spending their money and going to see the movie. However, I will be spoiling some of the movie, so if you have not seen the movie and you don't like spoilers, go check out the movie and then come back here. In this review, I will be going over my bottom and my top 3 favorite things about the movie, my main takeaways, and my little script rewrite that actually, no joke, came to me in a dream. So if you enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and Red Hulk smash that notification bell. Let's get into it. For my top 3 favorite things, we're starting off number 1 with the cast and the cast dynamics. The character Ruth was really good. Giancarlo Esposito in his role as Sidewinder, I believe, was also very good. However, I do think he could have been in a bigger role and would have done really well, but it kind of sucks for the MCU. They don't really, cast twice a lot, so I don't think he's going to get casted again, but I think he did really good as Sidewinder. See, I didn't love this character, but I also didn't hate him walking towards as the new Falcon. He was pretty good. I think their dynamic between him and the new Captain America, him and Sam, was very good. But him on his own, I don't think he's my favorite, but a lot of people like him. The leader, I think, is the weakest out of this cast. I'll get to him in a little bit. But yeah, I think he was the weakest out of the performances in this movie. Then we move on to Isaiah Bradley. Dude, he was good. Every moment that he was on screen, it just hit harder because of his backstory and because of just the things he would say and the look in his eyes and just the pain and suffering, that just hits, and it's incredibly sad. And the fact that he wore his wedding suit to the White House and then that happens to him is awful. It was terrible. It was not fun watching that. Then we go to the old man Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford just doesn't want to be there. But the fact is, he does want to be there. He does want to be there, but he acts like he doesn't. He doesn't want to do all the... And I just realized this 2 seconds ago. He is the Jalen Hurts of Hollywood. He wants to show up, and he wants to perform, and he wants to show up and do a very good job. But he doesn't want the media and, everything. He doesn't want the light on him. He just wants to show up and perform and make people happy. And he's grumpy himself, but he's grumpy because people annoy him because he doesn't want to deal with that crap, which I understandable. My point is that Harrison Ford is very good, and he's very good with all his conflicts with Sam. I think all of their conflicts and all of them getting together and working together is really good. And not to spoil it, but yeah, I mean, you guys know from the trailers, his fight as Red Hulk versus Sam is awesome. And you saw that set photo with them dapping each other up and whatever and smiling with each other. He was happy to be on set, clearly. Maybe he wasn't and he was just putting on a good face for the camera or something, but I don't think he would do that. I think he was genuinely having a good time, and that's awesome. And then finally, Sam as Captain America is perfect. His dynamic with everybody and just the little lines he was saying, his interaction with Bucky. Again, he had this idea that he didn't deserve to be Captain America. And he had the same idea in Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is fair. It's a lot of responsibility and a lot to live up to. But the way I think is really cool that Bucky makes it is that Steve was this kind of god to these people. When he was introduced, there was nobody. It was just everybody, regular people, and it was oh, superhero. They were scattered. Now they're everywhere. So Sam has a lot of responsibility to protect all the superheroes, protect all the people, protect all the aliens. He's got to cover everything, and he's doing it, and he's fighting Red Hulk. He's fighting a Hulk without the serum. He's got his wings and everything, and the shield, but he's just a guy, and I think that's the coolest part about it. And I forget what the exact line Bucky says is that, but he's saying that people look up to him, they have something to aspire to because he's just a regular person, so he's a lot more relatable than the guy who took a serum and he's all big, whatever. Don't get me wrong, I love Steve. I think Steve is fantastic, but the reason he chose Sam was because of how good of a person he was. You saw that in The Winter Soldier, where he goes to his meeting for recovery for soldiers and all that, and I think he saw that and was like, that he's going to be Captain America, and I think that's really cool. Number 2, we have the fight scenes. The fight scenes were really good. The fight scene, especially Sam getting jumped by Sidewinder, was really cool. The first fight scenes, I think there was a few shots that were just kind of odd, but a lot of the actual fighting was really cool. The choreography worked. I think some of the dialogue in this movie felt kind of weird, but overall it was pretty good. But yeah, the fight scenes are definitely a highlight in this movie. This is a spy thriller. I need to see some good fight scenes, and this is Captain America. Captain America always has good fight scenes, and I think Anthony Mackie does a great job. He does really good with the fight scenes. Yeah, it's really cool, especially with Red Hulk. Again, another moment that's really good. That final fight made the movie like feel more rounded for me. I think if that final fight and those like last maybe 20 minutes didn't happen, I think I would feel a lot worse about this movie. But the Red Hulk fight, Sam's interaction with Bucky, all that coming at the very end of the movie is very good, and just the way he talks with Red Hulk, the way he fights Red Hulk, the way he just everything is very good. But yeah, again, the fight scenes were incredible. And number 3, the dialogue. I again said some of the dialogue was kind of weird, but overall the moments that I think needed to hit very well. When you have Sam looking at his friend that just got taken out of the sky, and him feeling all that responsibility, and his dialogue with Bucky, and his dialogue with Harrison Ford as the president, that character Thunderbolt Ross, their conflictions are very good, and just the pure acting of those dialogue moments were just very good. And his fun interactions with Joaquin, his interactions with Ruth, I think those moments are very good. I think my main complaints are a lot of me being an MCU nerd stuff, and it's like, oh, the future and the past, and like, does this align, whatever. That's more my complaints with this movie, rather than the actual integrity of the movie. So let's move on to my bottom 3. Number 1 for my bottom 3 is the prior knowledge needed. This movie is Incredible Hulk 2 without Bruce Banner, which I think, in my opinion, is the craziest part. I think at least Bruce should have shown up and at least helped Sam, even if he was busy or something. But he should have at least shown up, and he didn't. And I think the Avengers not being set up now is kind of crazy. I hopefully we see them before Avengers Doomsday, but maybe we don't. I don't know. I'm worried. I am worried. But I do think the prior knowledge needed to know, like, oh, this is the leader, and then this is Thunderbolt Ross. And Thunderbolt Ross is kind of, it's like a slight, deep cut, slight. But the leader is like, the movie was in 2008. Like, you can't expect people to remember all this and then, oh, they have to go remember it back, because then even me, who I knew the leader and I knew kind of what was going to happen, my main problem with this is that, like, it's a lot and it's kind of boring. I think he should have been a puzzle piece to the overall conflict in that movie. I was like, oh, he probably injects him with the serum or whatever, and then he turns into Red Hulk, and that's all that happens. It's like I wanted to see him as him being there and then being a part of a team that, oh, that's going to collect and that's going to be a bigger problem in the MCU. Again, MCU nerd stuff. Number 2, and a lot of these collide, again, the leader. His acting performances, I don't think were that good, and I don't think the leader is that good of a villain. So when you see him become the villain in The Incredible Hulk, you don't really see him being a villain yet, but you see him like, oh, look, the gamma got in his brain. You're like, okay, so he's going to be really smart to help a group, to help people, like, take somebody down. Like, oh, so he's going after Ross, so then he's going to be able to take this person down, and it's going to be like, oh, this is going to be a big problem for the event. No, he just turns himself in. And it's like, what? I don't know. I don't know. I know. I get he has beef, and he wants to be a good guy, but, like, I think once Ross, like, turns him into a bad guy, he should be like, you know what, let me work with people now, and we're going to take everybody down. Like, this is America's corrupt, this people are corrupt, and whatever. But he's just kind of like, oh, I got my revenge on Ross, that's all I really wanted. Lock me up. It's like, what? And then number 3, again, working with everything, no twists. There was no part in this thing that I think was a twist other than Ross locking up the leader for that long. But I was like, oh, what else? I wasn't like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like, when I think Arnim Zola was like digitized, his brain was like digitized on that computer in Winter Soldier, I was like, whoa. Like, that is crazy. Like, is Hydra back? Like, how are we going to deal with that? Like, again, that didn't really lead up to anything, but it was pretty crazy. Also, yeah, for a Captain America movie, I think that was a pretty small plot. It was like, President Ross, they're all fighting a Tiamat, but we don't really get a lot more out of it. It's just like, Tiamat, oh, he's just like a mine, and we're just going to go get adamantium. I'm like, okay. But the overall plot, it's Ross, the leader, adamantium, that's it. I needed another piece to it. Like, S.H.I.E.L.D. being controlled by Hydra. The Avengers fighting each other and then breaking apart. The first one, Red Skull. I think they just moved a couple letters around there. But yeah, Red Skull I think was the least intimidating, and he is a science division of the Nazis. I think that's pretty big compared to what we have this movie. Other than Red Hulk. I think Red Hulk is a fantastic villain. I don't think the leader is. And my final little complaint is, this is a movie where a post-credit scene should have been the Avengers. The Avengers maybe should have been a part of this movie, because I think it's kind of crazy that the president turned into a Red Hulk, and Sam's not like, yo, I want to handle this on my own. I want some help. I'm not trying to die here. Like, I get there was a point like, oh, he's got to do it himself, because he's got to prove that he can do it. Like, no, ask for help. You have friends for a reason. But this is a movie where you have to set up the Avengers, because having the Avengers being set up in Doomsday, I think is a little late. Like, you had the Avengers in Avengers 1, so that when you handled in Age of Ultron, you had the Avengers. Like, I get they're like, oh, they're so sad, Endgame, whatever. You would think they would be scared. Get everybody together, like you saw that little meeting with Shang-Chi, Wong, Carol Danvers, and Bruce. Why is it Sam like, yo, let's go, I'm Captain America. Like, let's stop messing around. I don't know. I don't know what the thought process behind that is, but again, for a movie like side of this, is what project next are you going to introduce the Avengers? What are you going to wait till Doomsday? Not Black Panther 3, not Doctor Strange 3, not Thunderbolts. Maybe Thunderbolts. I think it'd be a little stupid, because I don't know how many people are going to love Thunderbolts. I think I'm going to love Thunderbolts, but as a big name, you want to do it on a big name. Where you have Captain America in the title, people are going to go see a Captain America because it's Captain America. I know it's not Steve Rogers, but it says Captain America. People don't really like taking risks, so they're going to go see the safe movie. So I think Captain America is a very safe movie for them. So enters the Avengers in the movie you think people are going to go see. But, maybe I'm crazy. You're not going to introduce them into Disney Plus series. What movie? Spider-Man 4? You're going to do it in Spider-Man 4, and I think that's after Doomsday. From my perspective, I think it's stupid to set up the Avengers in Doomsday, but, that might be what it is. Let's move on to my main takeaways. And I think we're going to go back to the magical number 3. We have our 3 main takeaways. Sam or Bucky, apparently, would have both been good options. My main thing was, like, why Sam got the shield over Bucky was the public doesn't trust Bucky. Like, he was the Winter Soldier for so long. Like, he was brainwashed. Like, what if somebody figures out how to, like, control him through that? Whatever. The American public does not care. He's getting elected as a member of Congress, I believe. Or so, I think he's getting elected. I think I heard somebody explain it where he has to be elected to have, like, one of those America pins. And, like, in the movie is like, oh, he's getting a speech so he can get elected. Like, that's crazy. That is crazy. But, I mean, he fought again, like, with the Avengers. And he, like, fought Thanos. Like, I get it. I get why. But he was a fugitive for so long. You would think a group of people would be like, no, let's not let this happen. But you know what? That respect. Bucky's great. Bucky's amazing. When you get to know Bucky, Bucky's awesome. Winter Soldier, not cool guy. Bucky, cool. My main point is that one of them could have gotten the shield, or the other one could have gotten the shield, and I wouldn't have complained, and it would have been great. My second biggest takeaway, with the projects that are coming up, go look at them. Marvel didn't want to take any big swings in a Captain America movie, and I mentioned this before, and it was one of my main problems. You have to take big swings in the projects you trust most, especially when you have not established the Avengers before an Avengers movie. What, are you going to do it in a post-credit scene for a movie? If you do it for Thunderbolts, that might work. I think Thunderbolts a bit risky, but I also think it's going to do very well. But I think if you have the Thunderbolts happen, and the whole thing is like, the Avengers not coming, and then you announce and you show the Avengers in a post-credit scene, that would work. But until then, what, Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange 3, Black Panther 3? No! That's not gonna work! You have to take your big swings in these movies, and it felt like this was Incredible Hulk 2. And that is not the right decision, in my opinion. Alongside an Avengers announcement, another thing you could have announced, Kingpin or Val, or Val, being controlling this situation. Having the leader, get something from Val or get something from Kingpin to do this to Ross. He had his own reasons, but to get the technology or whatever to do this, I think would be really cool, and it would set up, oh, look, Kingpin's gonna be bad in this. Oh, Val, oh, that's coming up in Thunderbolts. And that's your next two projects, Daredevil Born Again and Thunderbolts. And you're setting yourself up for the next movie, the next project. That is what you need to do, because you're shooting too far with, especially this post-credit scene, the line delivery, the whatever. I learned today, apparently, and I hope this gets rewritten, the post-credit scene is somehow, and if you guys have seen the movie, somehow is leading to the Illuminati. First of all, they're dead. Second of all, if there's another Illuminati, why are we dealing with them? I do not care. I do not care. The whole reason that Multiverse of Madness sucked is that they focused on the Illuminati. I love Doctor Strange. He's my favorite hero. The whole reason that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness sucked wasn't Wanda. Wanda was great. It was the Illuminati, because nobody cared, and then they died. And it was like, okay. Did you think I was going to cry when Professor X died? No, he died in the other X-Men movies. Did you think I was going to cry when John Krasinski died? Jim from The Office as Mr. Fantastic? Cool fan cast. I think it was a cool moment, and I loved it. But then he died. If you kept them alive, and then introduced them Doomsday and made them an important part, and have, oh, look, this is a Professor X we have in this universe, and we're setting up this whole nother universe we want you to care about, and then have them all die in Doomsday, fine. But you kill them off the bat. Oh, right, Illuminati post-credit scene. That didn't make any sense. Just say, the only thing he said was that, oh, what, you're protecting your world, oh, what about the others? The only thing about that line delivery that sounds like it's talking about is, the other universes, they're all gonna try to, protect themselves, so you're gonna have to fight each other. That just sounds like Secret Wars. Where are we getting Illuminati from? Who got Illuminati from that? Please, I don't want the Illuminati, and I could flash back to this in however long, and it's a great idea, and it works, and whatever. But right now, what you gave me with the Illuminati was not good, so I don't want to see them again. It's just a simple concept. You have so many concepts in the comics, and you go back to that, which you made people have already a bad taste in their mouth from Multiverse of Madness. Moving on. And again, my main problem was the villains in this project. Again, I think Red Hulk was fantastic. I think his dynamic with Sam was fantastic. Don't get me started with fantastic. I think that was great. But the leader sucked. I don't know if it was the actor or whatever, or just the plot point. But first of all, if you're gonna deal with two Hulk villains, have Hulk in here. Have Hulk in here. Someone, at least Bruce Banner. You're not gonna have Bruce Banner dealing with his ex-girlfriend, dealing with the guy he worked with that like kind of betrayed him, and the other guy that he worked with that kind of betrayed him. What? How? This is where we move on to my kind of rewrite script pitch. We're gonna move on to that because I think I could have it be in Captain America 4, but I also think it would be cool to have it at the end of the movie or in a post-credit scene, and then it be the initial shot, the initial fight scene for Avengers Doomsday, and each project it like shows like all these like projects that are coming up, they're all different groups, and I think that's like the cool thing is like, oh, we have the Wakandans and the Black Panther 3, we're gonna see the Wakandans be here, and then they're gonna get sucked into Battle World and Doomsday, or maybe not yet, or just Doom shows up and he's like, yo, what's up? And Doctor Strange 3 and Doom shows up and he's like, yo, what's up? Oh, and Captain America 4 and the Avengers are there and he's like, Doom's like, hey, what's up? I'll explain to you what's happening. I'm gonna get like kind of like mysterious with this, and I'm gonna just read it out for you. And again, keep note, not a screenwriter, not a script writer, not a good writer, not a movie director, not whatever. But I think this concept would be really, really cool. And guess what? You know what? If you don't like it, blame my brain. Blame the dream people in here who said, here's a plot. And you know what? It was kind of a nightmare too, which was really cool. And then you're like, oh, it's a nightmare. Oh, that sucks. You should not like it. They were cooking. Because it, like, made sense. And I was like, yo, why does this make sense? This is low-key fire. So I gotta talk about it. Because I feel a little crazy. Like, it feels way too good to be a dream. You know how, like, dreams are, like, kind of weird? And it goes back and forth. And it's like, well, that's, like, that doesn't make sense. Whatever. This made sense. It was, like, uncanny. Okay, let's move on to that. And you're hearing my voice get all like, oh. I'm gonna get intense because this is serious. Flying around Tiamat, the Avengers, assembled at the very end of the movie, find a bunker on an island that the leader had been moved to instead of just turning himself in. The Avengers walk down a long metal staircase with dim lights and drops of murky water drip from the ceiling. When they get down there, the leader appears down below from them, and the Avengers stand up on metal rafters. He welcomes the Avengers and announces that he's had some help putting together a special project. The frame cuts over to a dark hallway from where the Avengers are standing. Slowly revealed through the darkness in a zoomed-in shot, with wires zapping and loud, clunky footsteps approach them. Faint glimmers of a song start to play.
I've got no strings to hold me down, to make me fret or make me frown.
And, you know, it's a little bit more dramatic, fading from a child's voice into more of a metallic metal voice appearing. Just a simple, hello, appears Ultron, looking shinier and brighter than before. Fade to black, and the letters, the Avengers and Ultron will return. And that leads us into Doomsday. And then in the beginning of Doomsday, Ultron kind of goes like, oh yeah, you know, when I heard Stark like sacrifice himself like gracefully, like I thought it was going to bring you guys together, but like, look, you guys, like, you guys are pathetic. And he's going to mention when he was like shot down by Vision, that he missed there's grace in their failings, and it was a pleasure to live among them. But then Ultron just goes, but really, like, look at you guys. You guys have a sluggish Asgardian with Thor. You have two half-size Hulks with Smart Hulk and She-Hulk. And then he goes, a pretty boy with his jewelry, talking about Shang-Chi and his 10 rings. And then the icing on top, the Falcon cosplaying as Captain America. And then he taunts him that he didn't even take the serum. He's just going to rip right through him. And then slowly through them fighting them, he flies around, he starts attacking, it goes back and forth. We're getting to see like the team kind of work together in the beginning fight, just how they did in Age of Ultron, where you saw them against Strucker. You realize through these two fights that, one, Ultron's made out of adamantium, and also what Sam doesn't realize before. So, because Ultron's made out of adamantium, he tries to punch through Sam's shield, and he's not able to rip through it. And before, just if it was vibranium, he was able to rip through it. But the shield that he got was from a different Captain America. Or, well, not a different Captain America, but because he went to another universe and then came back, he was able to get adamantium. So his shield is not made of vibranium. It's made out of adamantium. And that's the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more nerdy videos just like this. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And if you cannot have a fantastic day today, have a fantastic day tomorrow. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later, nerds!